Tomorrow is deadline day for Ontario cities and towns. That's when they have to decide whether they'll allow cannabis stores in their communities. Some of them are opting in, while others have already opted out. One of the very first municipalities to say no was Markham. Frank Scarpitti is the mayor of Markham and joins us now. Hi, Mayor. Thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it.
Great to be here.
As we mentioned, Markham decided to opt out last month, being one of the first. Has your position changed at all from that point, or what sort of led council to that position?
Well, I actually think our position has been pretty consistent. When we were approached by the previous provincial government, they were going to have government-run stores, and we were asked by some officials within the ministry, would we want to host a store, be one of the first municipalities to host a store under that system. And at the time, I indicated as mayor that we wouldn't. There was a lot of concerns about location, about external signage and marketing. And when this provincial government got elected, they indicated they were going to be handing the stores over to the private sector. And again, we've expressed concern about the lack of control municipalities have about where they can be placed. But I can tell you the feedback, certainly we just came through a municipal election campaign in the late fall here in Ontario. And locally, I can tell you the feedback was pretty consistent. They didn't want us to participate. And in fact, we took some measures during the election campaign. We had to call a special council meeting to also restrict the consumption of cannabis on private property.
Was it an issue during the election?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think a day went by where, because there'd been a new provincial government elected, because there was new legislation that was about to be passed, they actually made it more permissive than the previous government as to where cannabis could be consumed. Now, one good thing, just like the retail stores, they gave municipalities the options to restrict where it can be consumed. And because we hadn't been successful in changing this provincial government's mind on actually making their provincial legislation more restrictive and allowing municipalities, if they wanted to open it up as to where cannabis could be consumed. And when we saw they were about to pass that legislation, it's not happened in recent history for sure. We've never called a special council meeting in the middle of an election campaign, but we did to restrict the consumption to private property. And then when the legislation got passed in relation to the retail stores, as much as we'd taken previous resolutions and sent those to the province, the provincial government wanted to hear from the new councils that had been elected in Ontario, and our message was pretty consistent, and we decided to opt out.
Is there a point at which you would change your mind? And I ask because right now we're going to see eventually in the spring brick and mortar stores up and running. Supply issues could change, et cetera, et cetera. I'm wondering, is there, when you see the effects in other municipalities, and if they aren't negative, are you open to changing your mind?
Well, a couple of things. As much as I always thought we were doing the right thing in passing the decision to opt out, I have to tell you, since we've made that decision to opt out and restricting the consumption of cannabis on private property, I get that feedback from the community that we've done the right thing. And interesting enough, it comes from people of all backgrounds, people of all ages. And I have to say, even some people who will tell me they supported the legalization of cannabis, but don't want to see the stores in their backyard. And they certainly don't want to see cannabis consumed where you could have cigarettes. So I would say that there's nothing that's happened, certainly over the past couple of months, that would indicate that we should open this back up. And to be honest with you, I think we have more important issues to contend with, particularly with last week's announcement that the provincial government is undertaking a governance review with municipalities in certain parts of Ontario. So I don't see it as a top priority to bring this back. And to be honest with you, it'll be a wait and see. And if some future council down the road wants to bring the issue back, I just don't see why we'd undertake the resources, the time that we did prior to both those decisions.
I have just 30 seconds left, but I'm wondering if you're worried at all about driving people in your city back towards the black market because they don't have the product legally readily available.
Well, first of all, there will be retail stores available in the GTA, first of all. It's also available online. But I do want to say this, and this I think is a premise that's absolutely wrong. If anyone thinks that because there'll be retail stores in a community, that the black market will not be there, they only need to take a look at gambling. Gambling's been legalized for many years. If you don't think there's underground gambling happening in communities across Canada, let me tell you there is. And also tobacco, another big issue, that there's the underground market, the black market, that is thriving.
All right, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Mayor Scarpitti. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.